He's the popular co-host of Pro Football Talk Live with Mike Florio. He's Chris Sims, who joins us on the program. Chris did the interview, in air quotes, with Shannon Sharpe with Julio Jones help or hurt the situation of trading him?
It hurt, I think, more than anything. I don't think it hurt in a big way. Now, listen, I think like you. I mean, that's not a good look. I don't like that Shannon Sharpe did that to Julio Jones. And, I said on the show yesterday on PFT that from the sources I know connected to the situation, that Julio Jones and his agent were ticked off about that and all of those things. But at the same time, I don't think it really hurts the leverage of the trade really ultimately, because listen, we all know he's been on the trade market. They've been having conversations with teams. It's not like these teams saw that interview and went, oh, it's official. He's being traded, guys. Now we can work this against him. We got the leverage. We know he wants out of there. I don't. As long as there's more than one team involved, I don't think it affects it a whole lot, except it's maybe made it more of a known thing that Julio wants out of there, maybe more than the other way around.
But also with Matthew Stafford, the Lions just said we're open for business. And I wondered if it was going to hurt their leverage, and they got a great offer there.
Exactly. That's why I think it's overblown. I'm kind of with you. I don't think it really matters either way. Julio's really good. As long as teams start to get comfortable with where he's at physically, I think there will be a bidding war. I would not be shocked to see the Titans and the Colts and the Patriots really trying to get his services. I do think there's still a lot of special play left in Julio Jones' body.
Okay. Where do you think he wants to go?
I think the two and this is another thing I said on the show earlier this week with, really same person that kind of let me know about, the unhappiness of the Shannon Sharpe interview, is that the Titans and the Patriots are two of the teams that are on the top of his radar for sure. They make sense to me, certainly. I mean, both teams, really good. He can be definitely a big-time missing part as far as an explosive, one big play type of guy for that New England Patriots offense. The Titans have that in A.J. Brown, but we know they like to play two tight ends, smash mouth football, only have two receivers on the field a lot of times, and they lost Corey Davis in free agencies. So I think that's one that jumps out to me. And if I'm him too, I'll say this team that I would be, the Colts would be it. The Colts to me are a fringe, and I know we need to see Carson Wentz, but the rest of the roster they're a fringe Super Bowl window type team right now too, who does not have that big time difference maker at wide receiver.
Can you imagine if Carson Wentz is good this year? Or really good? I think he's going to. I think, right. He's with Frank Reich. He's got protection. He's got a good offensive line. And you're right. You get Julio Jones, you add another weapon for him, and Carson Wentz could make a lot of people look bad if he plays well with the Colts.
I'm more with you too. If you made me bet money on how Carson Wentz does this year, I would bet on it's going to be good to really good. I know last year was a disaster, but you and I discussed during the year last year. I mean, everything was a disaster there. The offense, the pass protection, no run game, no good receiver to get open. None of that lend itself to great quarterback play. And then, of course, he compounded it and made it worse. But, I think the point is, let's not forget, though, the year before that, he carried a team on his back and got them to the playoffs when he got hurt against the Seahawks and all that. And we've seen other inklings in history, too, like the year he tore his ACL when he was on, an MVP-type pace, to know that it is in him if the support's around him. And that's why I'm like you. I think it's going to be a good year for Carson Wentz.
Anything change in Green Bay, in your opinion, after the interview on ESPN with Kenny Mayne?
No, I mean, it's more cryptic Aaron Rodgers language and signals and things like that. But I think basically what he was trying to say, it's about the people and all of those type of things. I mean, my take on that was he was going about the people, about the foundation. He feels personally disrespected as he's one of those important people, in the organization, let alone maybe the foundation for all their success.
But, Chris, help me understand this.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers talks about the legacy, the tradition, the town, his teammates, his coaches. Why would you give up all of that because of one guy?
Yeah.
who disrespected you and didn't call you the night they drafted a quarterback.
Right. I'm with you. I wouldn't abandon ship for all those positive things you've just mentioned. And I think ultimately Rodgers is smart enough and legacy aware enough that's why I think he'll be back there. I think that's kind of why he's been sending out these messages through John Kuhn and everybody else to kind of be like, everything's good except for these two jerks in the front office that I don't like. And you're right. I don't think you sacrifice that. Now, maybe after this year, okay, where there's no, actual commitment to him and all those things, hey, I understand that. And I do understand him being angry about how that went down and all the other reasons around it. But I'm with you. I mean, they're in a window. He's really good. He can still put up huge stats. And they were very close to getting to the Super Bowl last year. And I don't think he'll abandon that.
But if you're the Packers and you can solve the problem by trading for Julio Jones, then you say to Aaron Rodgers, hey, we hear you. We got Julio Jones for you.
Yes. This is something both Florio and I have been talking about on the show a lot the last few days. Like, if you want to mend that relationship, that would go a long way. And, again, like we talked about with some of the other teams there, it just can't always be Rodgers being perfect, on a 9-play drive with, 6 high-level completions, and he had to dodge the rush a few times. To me, that's the problem with the Packers. That's why they can't get over the hump. It's always about him being perfect. There's never like, hey, I can throw a slant to this guy and he broke a tackle and ran for 50 yards, or this guy just beat man-to-man coverage and we blew by him and we threw a 60-yard bomb. They miss that, and to me, those are very important elements when you get to the playoffs, because you can't always expect to execute 10 and 12 play drives and be perfect and beat the better defenses in football.
He's Chris Sims from Pro Football Talk, and I have a sneaky MVP pick.
Okay.
You want to guess?
Carson Wentz probably would have been my guess as far as a sneaky one. How about Matthew Stafford? Maybe that?
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Damn, see, we're friends. We're friends. We're simpatico. We're in the trust tree together.
Co-workers. We're co-workers.
We're co-workers.
Yeah, I don't know
yes,
for
we
friends.
Are.
But
okay, fine. The hell with you. We're not friends.
I'll meet you at the dispensary. How about that? I'll meet you at the.
Sounds good. That's how I make my friends. I'll see you there.
Better chance to be MVP, Justin Herbert or Matthew Stafford?
Ooh, I'll go with Stafford. I got to see the Chargers, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, young quarterback in the second system. I have more faith in the fact that Stafford could learn, a system that I don't think is overly complex and be thrust into a team that's really damn good already, and he can make it better. And I think, the wins and losses and all of that could add up to, yes, Stafford, McVay. I'm very excited to see how that all works out.
I ordered my Tim Tebow jersey, but I was informed that I will not receive it until July 7th.
July 7th?
Yes.
Back order?
No. I think they want to maybe the roster, and that his number becomes official then. But should I have bought a Tim Tebow Jags jersey, Chris?
No, you should not have. I
right.
can tell you that. That was a waste of money that you could have gave to me and I could have spent to other places. Yes.
At the dispensary.
At the dispensary, right.
Okay,
See, this is how it's all going to work.
Why did Urban Meyer feel the need to do this?
Because of this undying loyalty he has to a player that he looks as a special player in person. But I think it is risky for I'm sure a lot of the reasons you've talked about and everything like that. Yeah, he's going to get the side eye, Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow alike, and they're going to see how he's treated in those issues. But yeah, to me, it opens up a can of worms more than the positives I think that you can get out of this situation.
But if you were on the Jags and you're a veteran,
right,
and would you and being a quarterback, would you have any? Like, would you have an issue with this? And what would you do?
I'd be thinking about it a little bit. Like, I can speak to experience of Tebow got to Denver right after I was released by the Denver Broncos. I know that veterans in that locker room were very annoyed that he made himself available to the media every day, even though he was the second and third string backup. That's the things that can bother the veterans in the locker room.
Wait, he made himself available how?
Like, he was willing to sit there in front of the media and take questions and talk every day on a daily basis. They put up that billboard, right, about like bench Kyle Orton, let's play Tim Tebow. He never said like, hey, take that down. Kyle Orton's the starter, all of those things. I know that rubbed people wrong in Denver in that locker room. And if he does that type of stuff, yes, he's not going to get a lot of respect in the locker room. The quarterbacks, on the other hand, I mean, come on. We know Trevor Lawrence. He shouldn't be threatened, but I'm sure going through his head is he's going to be like, wait, am I going to lead us on a 99-yard drive, and then we're going to get to the 1-yard line, and we're going to give it to Tebow so he can run it in the end zone and do that? Like, I wouldn't lie. If I was Trevor Lawrence, that'd be going through my head right now.
But do you think Tebow's viewed as a self-promoter here?
I do. Yes. I do think he is viewed as a self-promoter. I think players view him that way as well. Yeah.
And he was that way in Denver.
He was that way in Denver. I think people have always thought he's that way to a degree. Even here, what he did in this circumstance, he CAA, they release it the night of the draft about the Jaguars information. Come on, that was self-promotion. It just got squashed because, thy great one Aaron Rodgers came out with bigger news that night that squashed it. But that to me was part of the self-promotion to get this ball rolling, start putting pressure on Jacksonville to do it, get the fan base and the Tebow maniacs and all them in northern Florida to start clamoring for it. I think that was all a planned attack by Tebow and his camp.
You are putting out your quarterback list.
I am.
Is this the top 40 quarterbacks?
Top 40 quarterbacks right now, right? All things are equal. Everybody's playing on the same team. I'm the head coach, and it's basically my pecking order of quarterbacks. It's my depth chart. That's how I'm doing it right now.
Who's 40?
Case Keenum was 40.
Okay, that's McLovin's guy, one of his guys.
Yep.
Yeah, McLovin is when he falls for a quarterback, he really falls for a quarterback. He's got he loves Andy Dalton too. Is Andy Dalton in the 30s?
He's coming up. He's not. We haven't hit him yet, but he won't be too long. So don't worry. And how can you have a name like McLovin and not fall in love with people? I mean, it's just I would expect that.
Yes, well, I did. The first quarterback crush was this lefty kid out of Texas back in the day.
That's right. That's right. It was a wise move. Very wise move.
No. Colt McCoy's right-handed.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You're funny. You're funny. You're both jerks and you're funny.
Are you going to – so you already know your top 40, right?
Oh, yeah. I got it all down. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely. That's what I tinkered with all week last week. I stressed out about it. Like, I go to dinner with the wife on Friday night, and she's like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like – oh, I'm sorry. My list, I'm always thinking. So it overtakes my life here for a period of time.
Okay. Is there somebody – I know that you're going to create some headlines here. You always do. But is there somebody who's going to be viewed as being too high on the list or somebody who's going to be viewed as too low on the list? Which one brings the controversy here?
Ooh. I when I look at it, I think there's like, and I'm going by like my producers and people. There's about 3 or 4 people at different spots that I think could cause, a stir, a crazy, because they don't see it the way I do or whatever else. Listen, our one's already happened. I made Justin Fields 39, and I'm getting eviscerated on, social media. So that's just, part of the game. It's the same thing. Last year I made Tua 40. I got the same type of reaction and those type of things. It's not disrespect to any of these guys. I hope Justin Fields proves me wrong. It's just where he's at right now. He's unproven. He hasn't played. And I had questions about him coming out in the draft. So, but yes, you know me. Not that I try to do this, but maybe my beliefs and studies are just different than others. I'm going to have a few that I think are going to
But you have
stir the pot.
Kellen Mond ahead of Justin Fields.
I do. I had Kellen Mond in front of Justin Fields and Trey Lance throughout the draft process. To me, Kellen Mond, I'm putting the proclamation out here that he's going to be the Dak Prescott of this draft. Like the guy that went to the 4th round, everybody nitpicked him because of team reasons, and he fell. And I look at Kellen Mond, really, you could argue that Mac Jones and Kellen Mond were the two most pocket-ready quarterbacks. Not saying they're the best, Dan, but playing from the pocket, that is where Mond was special to me, and NFL-ready special to me, where pocket collapsing, doesn't need space, has a big arm, really goes through reads the right way, can throw into tight windows, and that's NFL football when it's all said and done.
If you're Kirk Cousins, should you be nervous?
Not right now. I don't think so, but I do think Mond is the type of talent that Cousins is going to feel his presence throughout the year, even though he's the starter, because he's the kind of guy where, guys are going to come off the practice field and coaches every now and then and go, whoa, did you see some of those throws by Mond today? Wow. That was special. Did you see him take off around the corner on that bootleg and run 50 yards down the sideline? Those type of things will get the hype to where Kirk Cousins will feel the pressure maybe more about 2022 rather than right now, this moment.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And a lot of the success, and this, is the team you go to. And a lot of times, when, like Joe Burrow, if you put Joe Burrow on Kansas City,
right.
Like, who knows what kind of numbers, but he's with Cincinnati right now. I think that's what made what, Herbert did with the Chargers. A good team, an injury-plagued team, but still a better team. And I think if you look at success, there are a lot of guys who failed. Yes. And they failed because they went to a bad organization. And there are guys who succeeded, who probably have succeeded because they went later in the draft and got with a better team, a better organization, a better situation. Maybe they weren't asked to start right away.
Exactly right. You got a chance to develop. The pressure wasn't on them to carry the team right from the get-go. Like you're saying, the support system's there already, so it can accentuate the talents. I know you and I have discussed this before, but I think that's one of the things people like drop the ball on with that, the Mahomes-Burrow conversation you're just talking about. Hey, Mahomes, I know any team he would have gone to, we would have saw the talent and gone, whoa, he does some really cool special things. I get that. But the fact that he got to go to a team that had a good system, had a coach that really, was all about the quarterback and really, lived it like he did through his eyes, and then had the weapons, that's when, you get a jump-off point to where, wait, we have a great support system around this guy, and now it can really accentuate all his talents that he can bring to the table. So all the idiots in the world, even the casual football viewers, can go, whoa, this guy's really damn good. And to me, that's where a lot of teams drop the ball on drafting quarterbacks. It's like the Sam Darnold New York Jets conversation. Wait, you draft a guy at number 3, you make it the biggest thing in the organization, and then you give him crap for 3 years around him. And then you wonder why people are calling for your head as a GM or going, hey, you guys are stupid and all these, and what a bad pick at quarterback. You just can't do that at this day and age. It's inexcusable, and you got to give that guy support if you're going to draft him high.
Thank you, Chris. Good luck with the list, and we'll be closely monitoring so we can rip you as always.
Thank you, workmate. Thank you. See you, workmates. Bye-bye.
See you at the dispensary. That's Chris Sims, co-host of Pro Football Talk Live.